Many of you, including myself, have been eagerly awaiting BYD's new electric SUV, which is coming to a bunch of different markets all over the world this year. In particular, us Aussies here have been waiting on BYD electric cars because we don't have many to choose from right now. We don't have the Tesla Model Y. We have very, very limited numbers of lots of different EVs. We don't have the Mustang Mach-E at all in any shape or form. We're missing out on the Volkswagen ID3, the ID4. And honestly, there's just not much here for Aussies, but soon that is about to change. I received an email today from BYD, and I'm going to share with you what it's about, what's going on, and my thoughts on whether or not you should actually consider buying one. Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Electric Viking. My name is Sam Evans. Great to have you here on the channel. Welcome back to all the new subscribers. Great to have you. Welcome back to everyone else as well. We've made 1,000 videos over the past 6 months. Don't know how that happened, but they're all there. Make sure you check some of them out. There's lots of interesting information there. If you've got a day off or you're just sitting at home and you're not sure what to do with yourself, well, there's months of videos there that you can watch. Here's the email I got today. I'm sure some of you got this as well. Welcome to those who are receiving updates for the first time. We're excited to let you know that the Australian variant of the BYD Yen Plus, I'll tell you what the actual name will be for the Australian variant. It won't be called the Yen Plus, it'll be called something else in a second, is scheduled to launch on our website on the 20th of February, only 8 days away. Full details, pricing, warranty, delivery timeline, and ability to pre-order will be available at evdirect.com.au. I'll put a link in the description below to that website. Our first BYD Experience Centre in Sydney is scheduled to open in the coming weeks. We will provide you with an opening date and operating hours as soon as our team have applied the finishing touches. BYD test drives. Now, this is what I've been waiting for. I spoke to some of the big wigs at BYD and they said that I'd be able to test drive some of their vehicles for you guys soon so you could actually see the cars and get my impressions on them, and I'm going to tell you the truth of what I really think. I'm not going to hold back, but apparently that's going to be happening in March, about the second week of March, so I'll have the video out as soon as I can, within probably 48 hours of doing the test drive. Now, the email goes on to say that they'll also let you know, or all of us know, about availability dates for all their different vehicles very soon. Limited release BYD E6 and T3. Now, I was fortunate to be able to test drive Paul from BYD Drive's E6 up in Brisbane. And I've got to tell you, for the price, it was the bargain of the century. He got the bargain of the century, Paul. Well done, my friend. You jumped in right at the start. You took a bit of a risk, and boy, did it pay off. But unfortunately, this is what BYD says. In Australia, our allocation of BYD E6 and T3 models have sold out. Whilst we are unsure whether we will see more E6 or T3s in Australia, BYD plan to release up to 6 models over the next 24 months. All of which will come to Australia and a series of other markets worldwide as well. Many have added what other models might be new in Australia. Many have asked what other models might be new in Australia. BYD produces many models globally, and once a particular model is on its way to Australia, we'll let you know with detailed information to be made available on our website. The models we already know that they've already confirmed are coming to Australia include the BYD EA1 or the BYD Dolphin. That's the hatchback, similar size to a Toyota Corolla. Then you got this vehicle, the BYD Yen Plus, kind of a small to medium-sized SUV. We also know that at some point in time, BYD are bringing an electric pickup truck here to Australia. I don't know what other markets they're going to, but they are working on that pickup truck right now. Apparently, there's also 3 other electric cars coming to Australia and coming to a series of other markets within the next 18 months. It's going to be interesting to see what those are. I've heard lots of different things, but I'm not going to say what I've heard because it's mostly speculation, and I think some of that information has actually changed within the last few months. Finance. Well, here in Australia, BYD are going to be offering finance, at least EV Direct will be anyway, for BYD. When purchasing your EV, you will have access to outstanding finance deals through our very own EV Direct Finance. Due to the many inquiries we receive, we're unable to respond personally to each request. If you send them an email, they're probably not going to respond to you. They're just getting too many emails. As we release more information, it will be available via our website, www.evdirect.com.au. Make sure you jump on the site to keep up to date. So if you jump on that site, you can put in your details, your email address, your contact details, and then get updated with any updates that the company has. I suggest you do that if you're interested in electric cars, period, here in Australia. So I've jumped onto BYD's, Australian website, evdirect.com.au, and here they have the official name, the Western name that will be used for the BYD Yen Plus. It's going to be called the BYD Atto 3, ATTO3. Interesting name. It says on here, it launches on February the 19th at 7 p.m. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but that's only 8 days away. So I guess we'll find out in 8 days. Launches in 8 days, 7 p.m. I'm going to guess that you can probably order one at that time. So if I were you and you're interested, I would be sitting on the internet, on their website, at that time, the 19th of February at 7 p.m, waiting to put in your pre-order. Because if you don't do that within, I reckon, 10 minutes, you're going to have to wait a long, long time. I think you're going to need to do what we've had to do with, what Americans have had to do with the Cadillac Lyriq, what we've had to do here in Australia with the Ioniq 5, the Hyundai Ioniq 5 with the Kia EV6. Only small numbers are coming out. I know BYD are going to bring more vehicles to Australia than what those companies, Hyundai and Kia, are making available to Aussies, but I don't know how many more it is. So if I were you, that's my recommendation. Get on there. Not sure about the vehicle. Well, here is everything we know about it so far. The Yen Plus, or the Atto 3, will be BYD's global SUV, global electric SUV. And it's actually coming out in Europe following the BYD Tang, which went on sale there in August of 2021. So if you're European, you're watching this video, yep, you'll be getting this vehicle as well. So Top Electric SUV says that the BYD Yen Plus embodies the company's latest design language called the Dragon Face 3.0. Don't know what that means, but anyway, there's no denying it looks like a typical Chinese SUV, they say. I don't think it does at all. I think it just looks like an SUV that's electric. I think it looks good. It looks like it's electric, but like it's not really too in your face electric. I think it's a good combination of you can see clearly by the grille that it's an electric vehicle, but not making it too weird. Some electric cars, they just look weird. And to me, this just looks like a normal mid-sized electric SUV. Design highlights include crossover bodywork with elements like a sloping bonnet and a dropping roofline, LED dragon crystal headlamps, C-shaped aggressive front bumper corners, a full-width tail lamp with LED lights in it, and a D-pillar motif really stands out. It's reminiscent of the diamond pattern film in the honeycomb look on the Volkswagen ID3. Now, getting to the interior, and I've got to say, for a mid-budget to mid-priced SUV, I think the interior is very, very impressive. And the interior of the E6 that I test drove, it was, for the money, for what you pay, it was really quite impressive. I mean, it wasn't up to the level of, obviously, premium manufacturers like Audi, Mercedes, and Tesla, but it was still very, very good for the money. One thing that stands out and that I like is it's got a really big center touchscreen, but it's also got a small digital screen for the driver as well. Something I'm not too sure of is the rounded theme, because you've got the kind of square displays, and then you've got this kind of rounded ocean theme that BYD calls it in the vehicle. I'm not sure if I'm a huge fan of that. I don't think it looks bad. I think it's just a bit unusual. Tell me what you think. Do you like the interior? What do you think of the interior? The digital cluster is a compact unit reminiscent of the Volkswagen ID4. In addition to the stubby gear selector with a capsule-shaped knob, the front, center, and rear AC vents have an aircraft-inspired design. There are plenty of silver inserts on the interior elements as well. If you look at the width of the center console, it actually makes this car look like it's quite a wide vehicle on the inside. That's something that I picked up anyway. The Yen Plus features a large 15.6 inch, so it's slightly bigger than the screen in a Tesla Model 3 and a Model Y, floating touchscreen infotainment system and a 3-spoke steering wheel with a flattened bottom, and a compact virtual instrument cluster. The floor console is flat and low, and it has a mobile storage space and a dual cup holder. One thing I noticed in the E6 is the infotainment screen. The large infotainment screen can actually be flipped to go from horizontal to vertical, which I thought was kind of cool. I'm not sure if this one does that, but it'll be interesting to see if it does. So what are the specifications? The Yen Plus sits on the new BYD e-Platform 3.0. If you don't know what that is, you should know. I'll put a link in the description below to the video I made about BYD's new e-Platform 3.0. There's a good reason why Toyota is going to use it in their new electric cars. It's pretty impressive. This new platform debuted on the BYD Dolphin EA1, which is currently on sale in China and has been since the end of August in 2021. The platform packs the ultra-safe BYD LFP lithium iron phosphate blade batteries. I'll put some links in the description below to videos I've made about lithium iron phosphate blade batteries. And it has a heat pump as standard. So that's good to know. It has a heat pump. It's got an 800 volt system voltage, and it can do, apparently, 0 to 62 miles per hour in only 2.9 seconds. I'm not sure if this is true, but if it is, then that's insane. Now, obviously, that would be in the top spec model, and that one's going to cost more than the standard range, which is probably the vehicle that I'd be looking at. But anyway, the N Plus is a compact SUV in terms of its length, width, and its height. The length is 4,455 millimeters, width is 1,875 millimeters, and its height is 1,615 millimeters. However, it's got a really good sized wheelbase. It's 2,720 millimeters, thanks to being on a dedicated EV platform. That's also going to mean it's going to have significantly more interior space compared to equivalent ICE-powered vehicles, which are similar on exterior dimensions. A government certification filing has revealed BYD will launch the Yen Plus in China in 2 variants. And obviously there's going to be more than 2. I'm going to say there'd probably be about 4. That's normal for BYD, but these are the 2 that we know of so far. One has a range of 430 kilometers and the other has a range of 510 kilometers. However, these are NEDC figures. So you can probably subtract maybe 15% from those numbers for real world range. All variants are powered by a single motor generating 150 kilowatt of power and 310 newton meters of torque. However, a report from autohome.com.cn says that the maximum torque output will be more than 330 newton meters. And of course, there will also be a model with dual motors. So a motor at the front and a motor at the rear, meaning it'll be a 4-wheel drive vehicle. I don't have the specs on that yet, but we will know those soon. So the N Plus standard range, the curb weight apparently is only 1,615 kilos. This is incredibly light. If this is true, that's amazing. I don't know how they've done that. Gross weight, 1,990 kilos. I mean, this sounds like a lot, but remember, this is still less than, say, a BMW 3 Series electric vehicle, which is significantly smaller. Battery pack is LFP. The battery size in the smaller vehicle is 50.12 kilowatt hours. The energy density is 140 watts per kilo, and the top speed is 160 kilometers an hour. Now, for the one with the extended range, the bigger battery pack, that weighs 2,065 kilos, so it's 75 kilos heavier. Comes with a blade battery as well. However, the battery is 10 kilowatt hours bigger at 60.48 kilowatt hours. Energy density is also higher in this pack. It has 150 watts per kilo, and like I said before, it has a range of 510 kilometers. So what is the price? What price can we expect it to be in Europe, in Australia, in the United States? It might be coming there as well. From what I'm hearing, BYD does plan on selling their electric vehicles in the US as well. BYD physically unveiled the Yen Plus in China at the 2021 Guangzhou Auto Show in November of 2021. These were the prices that were listed at that time. Base model, 430 kilometer luxury trim, 132,800 RMB, which is 18,400 euros. Or around about 20,000 US dollars. Then there's a model up from that, the same battery pack size. It's called the Noble trim. That one's 139,800 RMB or 19,400 euros, around about 21,500 US dollars. Then you've got the extended range battery, the 60 kilowatt hour battery pack. That one is 19,793 euros or around about 22,000 US dollars. Then you've got the flagship trim, same range, but obviously better specifications in the car. That one is 21,180 euros, so around about 23,000 US dollars, which would be just under 30,000 Australian dollars. You can see why people in China are buying these and not buying ICE vehicles. You'd have to have rocks in your head to not buy one. The prices are just amazing, absolutely stunning. So the price, of course, it's going to depend on the incentives you can get. So this is not including incentives. My prediction for the price of this vehicle in Australia is about 38,000 Australian dollars for the base model. And I'd probably go with about 47,000 Australian dollars for the higher specification model. Remember, there's a fair bit of work that has to be done to get them to another country. They've got to have a different production line here for Australia and for the UK, where they make the vehicles in right-hand drive rather than the left-hand drive that they come with. Obviously, for Europe, many European countries, you won't have to do that. Then they've got to ship them here. There's a fair bit of costs involved in that. However, this will still make it the cheapest electric vehicle in Australia, period, with pretty good specifications and a good size as well. So you've got to say, what's going to happen in the Australian market? Well, I'm going to tell you what I think is going to happen. First of all, we know the Yen Plus is going to be sold here this month in February. And we also know it's coming to New Zealand as well, because the CEO of Nextport, who's going to be distributing BYD vehicles in Australia, also plans on distributing them in New Zealand. Now, the CEO of Nextport has said that the base model will come at under $40,000 drive away. So my price is in that ballpark. I'm saying 38. It could be closer to 35 if it's under $40,000 drive away. This would make it the bargain of the century. And like I said, if you want to get one, you're just going to have to put your name down really, really quickly, because they're going to sell out very, very fast. Other countries it's coming to this year: Singapore. BYD plans to launch the N Plus in Singapore in the second quarter of this year, April to June. And of course, it's coming to Europe this year as well, but we don't know when those vehicles will be shipped to Europe. However, when they are, you can imagine they'd sell out within 24 hours. I mean, this is the kind of vehicle that Europeans want, something they can afford, something that has this kind of shaped body that's really popular in Europe right now. So this is what BYD is saying. They're saying that they're going to offer the first electric cars in Australia that will be on price parity to comparable high quality petrol cars. And you can clearly see this is on price parity. The prices I've just given you are on parity with gas vehicles. So not only can BYD easily do this in China, but they can do this in Australia. Who else can do this? I mean, you've seen my videos, right? You've seen what companies like Stellantis say. They say they can't build EVs at a cost comparable price with gas. They're saying that they're 60 to 80% more expensive for them to build, but BYD is doing it somehow. You can see this is a game changer. You can see how BYD are going to be a big player in the global automotive industry by 2030. This is just it's basically impossible for legacy auto to compete. Remember, this is not the only vehicle that BYD plan on sending to all these countries. The EA1 or the Dolphin is coming as well for less than 30,000 Australian dollars, or for around about maybe 22 to 23,000 US dollars. So Luke Todd, Chief Executive of BYD importer EV Direct here in Australia, says that the Chinese giant has invested heavily in Australia-specific production lines for 15,000 vehicles to be sent here. Those production lines will be used as well for right-hand drive countries like New Zealand, the UK, maybe even Japan as well. So this would suggest that BYD will enjoy strong support of its models, unlike electric rivals Hyundai and Kia and Volkswagen, who are struggling to get hold of Ioniq 5 and EV6 electric cars, and ID3s. We can't get any of those here in Australia at all. BYD is the biggest global company that most people have never heard of, the CEO Luke Todd said. BYD is one of the world's leading advanced battery manufacturers, with a significant proportion of mobile phone companies using BYD batteries right now. You might be using a phone, you don't even know it. It's actually a BYD phone. BYD doesn't just do the batteries, they actually manufacture the handsets as well. The technology, combined with the world's leading European and global car design teams, has now merged with building exciting passenger EVs. And they are now available nationally via our evdirect.com.au sales platform. This is another area that is a huge advantage compared to legacy auto. These companies, they're selling direct to customers. They don't have these massive warehouses, these massive dealerships that are located in premium locations that they have to pay for, and all those staff that come with them. They're using basically local service teams that are already set up to just service other brands as their go-to point to actually pick up your vehicle and to have it serviced. Way more cost effective to do this. Now, Luke Todd says BYD has secured $500 million in finance available to customers at low interest rates with zero deposit up front. That's a big advantage. If you want one of these cars, obviously they're going to give you finance with zero deposit. Customers can order directly through the importer rather than negotiating with conventional third-party dealerships. An experience centre in Sydney's Darlinghurst will allow customers a chance to get a close look at cars before buying online. So if you're concerned about that, you could fly up to Sydney, have a look at the cars there before you buy, or just come and have a look at mine when it arrives. Exciting times. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you again on the next video. Bye-bye.